Well, hello again. Can't get rid of me, can you? Happy Saturday. Oh dear, I'm having trouble with my beads. Well, my rings or whatever you want to call them. Circles, aren't they? Yeah. Oh dear, well, it's not raining. I was going to go out, but I really just cannot drum up the enthusiasm, yeah. So, why am I here? Well, I got a book delivered after I'd finished making the videos yesterday. So you got 2 videos of me yesterday and you've got one again today, plus a live later on. Oh, you lucky people. Oh dear, I must put my mittens on. Oh, I can't do with this hand, it's driving me potty. Oh, I am absolutely miserable when I can't crochet on it. Miserable as sin. I try to read, I try to watch the TV, and I'm miserable. So what do? But I go on online and then I find books and things that I haven't got. So I'm spending me money. Well, I can't crochet, I'm spending me money, yeah. Anyway, what have I gotten today? You may remember I made this cardigan from a cone. I got several cones, I've only used one of them. They were 4-ply acrylic cones, I got them very, very cheaply. They were actually on sale, on offer. And I am wearing for the first time my trousers from Moonbeams and Mayhem, which I don't know whether you can see or not. They have got, you can't see them, can you? I'll try and tip the camera forward. No, you can't see them because it never works, does it, when I try and tip the camera forward? Show a leg, Janet, no. Anyway, they've got elephants on the bottom of them. I give up trying to show you them. I've got my camera's on a tripod, so it's not exactly I can bend it the same way. Anyway, why have I come on? It wasn't to show you my new trousers with the elephants on. It wasn't to show you that I'm wearing the top for the first time. It wasn't to show you that I'm wearing this top for the first time. The bead you will have seen before, yeah. It was to show you a book that arrived yesterday. Because I'm spending my money because I can't crochet, because my hand is, whinge. I know. Anyway, this is called Crochet Sweaters with a Textured Twist. 15 Timeless Patterns for Gorgeous Handcrafted Garments by Linda, and I think it's Skaja. Would you say that was Skaja? Anyway, as usual, I got it from Amazon. Some quite unusual things in here. Not your run-of-the-mill sweaters, no way. I'm just hoping I can turn the pages with my fingers. Oh, my poor little fingers. I was even trying to wash the dishes today, and I forgot that I'd put my little warmer things for my joints. Sticks them in the water because they got wet through, didn't they? I never learn. I must be practising for when I can only use my right hand. Anyway, the first one that I come across, in actual fact there's quite a lot of sizes in this book, which is good for you, anybody who's a bit on the fluffy side. This is called the Mal's Clay Sweater. So it looks like it's top down. The only problem I have with top down, if they're not a raglan, is they do tend to be a bit long, you know, under the arm if you're not careful. If you go that little bit, if you don't go far enough, they're not wide enough for the bosoms, are they? And if you go too far, they've got this sort of bit under the arm that doesn't look very pleasant, yeah. It does go all the way from a 30-inch bust up to, let me see, up to a 62-inch bust, so you can't say any fairer than that, can you? And it's done in fingering weight, which would be lovely if you're a bit fluffy, because this is fingering weight, this is 4-ply. And it does actually make you feel a little bit more flattered, if that's the word. You know, you don't feel quite as chunky monkey. Yeah, that's the back view of it. As I said, it's top down, and it's done in fingering. Oh, my fingers, driving me mad. Now this is called a Pien's Milk sweater. This is what I mean when they come a bit long under the armpit. They're not, I always feel as though I'm being, you know, when you lift up your arm, the waist goes up as well. As you can see with her, what she's doing. She's lifting up her arm and the waist's coming up as well. It's alright if you're standing still, isn't it? So this one, let's have a look what it's done in. It's done in sport weight, whatever sport weight is. We're not too sure about that in the UK, what sport weight actually is. And this one goes from a 48-inch bust to a 66-inch bust. That's probably because it's oversized, isn't it? I wouldn't say that was the actual bust measurements. That's the size of the actual garment, isn't it? Because it's, you know, as you can see from the shape of it, it's meant to be oversized, I think. So, right, what are we up to next? The next one is called the Ina Shadow Sweater. It looks quite plain. She's got a lot of detail on everything, if you can see it. It looks quite plain when you first look at it. But she has a lot of, well, I'm presuming it's a she, has a lot of interesting detail on things. I think that's what makes the sweaters a little bit out of the ordinary. They look quite plain at first glance until you get up and you look at the actual, you know, the bottom of it there, where it's got the stitching on it. Oh gosh, fingers. This one again goes from, well, it says a 38-inch, but it won't be a 38-inch bust. That will be the size of the garment. And it goes all the way up to a 61.75 inches. So once again, the only thing I've got against this is it looks quite long on the yoke bit. I would be kind of worried it would, you know, like pull up as I'm, I'm using it. Again, this is sport weight. So like I said, I'm not quite sure what sport weight is. It must be thicker than a double knitting because it's a 5.5mm hook. I do wish some of these books would give us the UK equivalent. You know, we have to start guessing. This is the Sneegs or whatever, S-N-I-E-G-S, Sneegs Snow Sweater. This one does look quite chunky yarn. That one. Fingers, irritating me. It's again, it's done in bulky weight, and it's on what kind of a hook? Tells me what kind of a hook is it on? Must tell me what kind of a hook it's on somewhere along the line. Oh, 8mm, so it's big and chunky. And that one goes from a 24-inch up to a 56-inch. But it is more of a bat wing shape. So it is quite chunky, that, isn't it? Bulky weight. Yeah. This one is called Directional. It looks like it's a bit off the shoulder, doesn't it? Maybe there's a back view of it. Oh, that must be further along because the first pattern here is actually called the Seashore. This one is quite an intricate pattern. I don't know whether you can see it. And I wish I hadn't done them in grey. Quite an intricate pattern where the ribbing goes every sort of which way. It's very difficult for me to show you because it's in grey. But it's kind of got, you know, a design pattern where the ribbing goes all different directions. That one is a worsted weight, and it goes from a 38 bust up to a 70-inch bust. Gosh, that fits everybody in that, doesn't it? I'm sure nobody's actually bigger than a 70-inch bust. It's quite an awful lot of instructions for that. It's probably because of the, you know, the sort of every which way ribbing going. They're telling you everything. There's about 8 pages of instructions with that one. So you can't complain, you're not getting the, yeah. This one's called the Inava Landscape Sweater. It's the one that's on the front cover. Again, I don't know whether you can see or not. She's got, wish she hadn't used dark grey. She's got ribbing going in all different directions, you know, the making it look shaped. I'm not so sure I'd like it. It looks a bit short and wide. Whether you could alter it or not, I don't know. You can see how short and wide it is on that one there. That's the back view. It is interesting how she uses shaping of the ribbing going every, you know, which direction. I just wish that she'd done them kind of in a cream or something where you could actually see the design. It's done in, oh, what's it done in? It's a bottom-up oversized batwing sweater, designed with a mixture of crochet short rows and post stitches. So it has got a lot of, yeah. I'm wondering what it's done. Oh, fingering weight again. You can see it's a bit of a strange shape, as you can see it there. It's kind of wide and short, isn't it? But only got thin sleeves. Size-wise, it goes from a 48, because it's oversized, up to a 79. So, you know, that's because, like I said, it's oversized. Oh, this is the one that I showed you before. I knew it was just a front cover. It's called the Zeem Earth Sweater. It's again circular yoke. As you can see, it's off the shoulder design. She's used very earthy colours, hasn't she? Which is very nice, I'm not complaining. But it's hard to show you on the photographs. This one again is done in, let me see, sport weight. And it's done on a 5mm hook. And the sizes go from a 46 up to a 71. But again, everything's sort of oversized, isn't it, on these? I mean, the instructions seem to be row by row by row, so you can't go wrong. Even if you're not a confident, I was going to say, crocheter. You have got, you know, row by row by row, yeah. This one's called the Jura Sea Sweater. It's actually done in pale grey, so you can see it a lot better. If you can see, the design goes all different which ways, yeah. She's using a lot of crochet technique, short rows, things like that, isn't she? Yeah. It's sideways ribbing, then worked with the crochet short rows, triangular like parts, it says. It's done in a worsted weight, and it's on a 6.5mm. The sizes are from a 36 up to a 66-inch bust. But you know, that is, it's a quite a, not too oversized, that one, is it? A lot of the ones in the book are, oh, that's a better picture. She definitely gives lots of instructions. There's pages upon pages of instructions. Right, what are we at to now? The Rasa Jew Sweater. It's got like a textured design at the bottom of it. Again, it looks as though it's top down. It's definitely on a yoke, isn't it? She gives you charts, and she also gives you instructions, you know, row by row by row. That one's done in double knitting. Oh, for a change, we've got double knitting. On a 4.5mm hook. And it goes from a 32-inch bust to a 62-inch bust. So she gives you a chart, but she also gives you lots and lots and lots and lots of instructions. Every row by row by row. That's another picture of it. So even if you're not confident about doing patterns, I think she tells you virtually everything you need to know. This one is an unusual one. It's called, I can't pronounce it, Zvagnis Stars Wrap Sweater. It looks like a sweater, but it's actually wraps at the back. Like, I suppose maybe you could wear it back to front as a cardigan. Don't really know, yeah. So it looks like a normal sweater at the front, but then it's a wrap over at the back with ties. It's done in a double knitting, which is great, a 5mm hook, and it goes from a 32 bust to a 63 bust. I don't know whether there's another back view of it. Oh my goodness, she gives you row upon row upon row. How many rows do you need to know? Lots and lots of rows, obviously. There's a picture of it with the back view. That's the back view of it. It wraps over at the back. It's like a back to front cardigan, really. I'd have trouble getting in it, actually, you know, like wrapping it round the back. This one is very unusual. It's called the Sun Sweater. It's like lattice work, but it's open work. You don't mind revealing your midriff. Yeah, it's very open work, isn't it? Not sure about that one for me, but hey ho, you may like it. It's done in worsted weight on a 5mm hook. That's my computer going bing, by the way. I've turned the phone off. It goes from a 35 up to a 68-inch bust. I mean, come on, you can't complain about that, can you? Again, pages and pages and pages of instructions. Then we come on to the Menace Moon Sweater. It's got a different colour at the top. It looks like a slash neck or whatever you want to call them. Yep, it's like a slash neck. I'm not sure, it looks like the the sleeves are done sort of sideways, maybe, I don't know. It's got, like you said, texture, open work pattern really, on the bodywork of it. It goes from a 30-inch bust up to a 62, and it's done in light fingering yarn. Light fingering yarn. She gives you a chart and she gives you row upon row upon row. I'll say this for the girls, she gives you plenty of rows. This one is quite sweet. It's called the Nora Forest Meadow Sweater. It looks like it's done in quite open work. Trebles, triple trebles or whatever they're called in the US. Very sort of open work. Be nice if you had a, well, you could wear it over a vest top or a t-top, couldn't you, underneath? Quite open work. She seems to have a passion for grey, doesn't she? Just ignore that. Right, it's top down, done in sport weight, and it's on a 4mm hook. Sizes from a 30-inch up to a 62. That's the back view, so it is definitely off the shoulder. Well, not off the shoulder, but you know what I mean, scoop. That's the word, isn't it? Scoop neck. Scoop. Right, next one is, I think it's because she must be Swedish or Finnish, I can't work these out. Maldugan's Fenfire Sweater. It's short sleeved. It's got the yoke with a fancy pattern on it. It's fingers. Yeah, she gives you plenty of photographs. I'll give her a due. Plenty photos. You can't say you don't get enough. I mean, some crochet magazines, they show you such arty-farty photographs, you can't actually see what it looks like, can you? Right, this one is done in sport weight, 4mm hook, and it goes from a 28-inch bust to a 58-inch bust. So it's like, oh gosh, she gives you fancy pattern there, fancy chart. But once again, she gives you every single row, how to do. People who complain say there's not enough rows to tell you what to do. This one is the book for you, girls. This one is called, it's a Tunisian sweater. But sadly, I don't like the sort of mock, whatever it is, cabling, pleating, tucking. I'm not keen, yeah. Otherwise I would have liked a Tunisian sweater pattern, but I just don't like the way it sort of tucks. I don't think it would be very flattering, you know, especially if the tucks hit you wrong, you know, in your bosom area. Right, it's done in, it's on a Tunisian hook, obviously. It's in fingering weight. It's on a 7mm Tunisian hook because, you know, I'm very much a beginner at Tunisian. Very, very much a beginner. I believe you use a much, much bigger hook when you're doing Tunisian than you would if you were just crocheting, yeah. It goes from a 36-inch bust up to a 60-inch bust. That's the back view of it. But as I say, I'm not keen on this sort of tuck design, or whatever you want to call it. Oh, and that's the last one in the book. Anyway, I can't remember what I actually paid for this book. It wasn't one of the cheap ones. It wasn't a bargain, because it's a brand new book as far as I can see. It's by Linda Skaja, she called Skaja. And it's called Crochet Sweaters with a Textured Twist. So if you like something that's a little bit on the unusual side, I mean, that is the book for you. And I mean, even though it's got some techniques I've never used, probably you've never used, she does give you very, very detailed row-by-row instructions. So even if you're not that confident, I think you could really tackle it, you know. Whether I will tackle it, I don't know. Whether I would warm up to it. There's a few that I would kind of warm up to a bit. What bothers me is the fact that they're kind of low. I like my armholes to be tighter. And what would worry me is if I stopped before I got to, you know, this bit, it might send all the sizing out of flunting, you know, the actual stitch pattern down the bottom. That's what I would have to really think about. That's what worries me, because when I've done one once before and I had to give it away, I couldn't do with it. The sort of, well, I won't call it a raglan, the yoke came too low down, and every time I moved my arm, the whole sweater came up with me, and it, excuse me, I've got a hair, and it annoyed me. I felt like I was, you know, constricted in this sort of chest department. I felt like I was a bit like a penguin, you know, couldn't lift my arms up properly. That's the only thing that would worry me about that book. But perhaps if I made a smaller size and didn't want it oversized, perhaps that would work for me, I don't know. But I do like my things a bit more fitted. That's just me. I mean, you may like your things oversized. I feel bigger in something oversized. I feel bigger than what I am if it's oversized. And I'm big enough already, let's face it, you know. So, hey ho. Wish I could lift my leg up to show you me trousers, but I can't. They are nice. They've got pockets with little beads on them, little wooden beads. And they've got elephants round the bottom, and they're quite pretty, actually. I was going to go out today, but as usual, I've lost the will. Anyway, I'm going to go now, and if you're on in the UK, it's 9 o'clock live tonight. If you're somewhere else in the world, you'd have to look up what 9 o'clock is in your, I was going to say in your language, in your time zone. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much to my new subscribers, and I love all the people who stay with me through thick and thin. You know, my stalwart few, you know who you are. Thank you for staying with me. And once again, thumbs up please, like and subscribe. And please tell all your friends if you think they might be interested in me doing book reviews, wittering on about nothing in particular, or showing you what I've crocheted. Yeah. I have blocked out the, you know, the curly waistcoat I was wearing the other day. I've blocked that one out, hoping it will stretch out, the curl. If not, it'll have to be steamed. That ruins acrylic, but sometimes it needs must if the devil drives you. If it won't block out the curl bit, I did it too tight, to be quite honest, and it's curling. And as I made it years ago, and I don't even have the rest of the wool, then I can't alter it. I can't, you know, take the band off and do it again. So it will have, I've got a steamer. It'll have to be steamed. yes, it spoils acrylic. Please don't steam acrylic. It goes all and you lose all the nature out of it. But I will have to gently steam it if I can't get them. And I've locked out the far point topper, hoping that I will stretch it out a little bit. Once it's been washed a few times, James C. Brown does have a tendency to go bigger. Yeah. So if it hasn't blocked out large enough, I'll just wash it again. And then it will go. I mean, the one I'd made before was like much bigger than the one I've just made, if you're with me. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go now. So I shall see you at 9 o'clock tonight if you're in the UK. Probably the middle of the afternoon if you're somewhere else. Even the middle of the night if you're in Australia. Who knows? Anyway, bye for now. Thank you for watching. Bye now.